I'm going to record the meeting. Hi, guys. Welcome to this, our final meeting of February 2021. Happy hour meeting. Cheers, everybody.
Happy hour. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Mickey on Monday.
Cheers.
Oh, tomorrow, I think.
Thursday,
Yeah.
Oh, tomorrow. Sorry.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow's not Monday.
But you thought today was Thursday, so that's why I was
did.
trying to save you.
Okay, I forgot to ring the bell. So there we go. We're good.
There you go.
News from Rotary. We had our 116th birthday this week. So I hope everybody got a chance to see some of the communications that went out from Rotary International.
I am not that old, by the way.
Mickey, you share a birthday with Rotary, just a couple years apart. And I hope that you all had a chance to read the communications that came out, and that you maybe had a chance to hit the donate now button as they're doing a push to fund the Rotary Foundation and polio.
Can I jump in on that, Amanda?
Yes, please do, Chris.
So right now, from a polio perspective, you all may be aware, maybe not, that the Gates Foundation matches every dollar we donate with $2, which gives $3 towards polio. But we have to meet the objective of $50 million. And right now we're projecting a shortfall. So if you're going to make a donation to the foundation, doing it towards polio would be greatly appreciated to help us get to that $50 million mark.
Let me just double check real quick that the email they sent out has the direct link, and I think it does.
Just go to rotary.org/donate. That's all you need.
Okay.
Chris, do we qualify for a grant if we meet the guidelines for Rotary International Foundation?
So that's a little bit of a different topic. And I don't know how District 6380 works their district grants. You know, Emilio, you're in 7750 ordinarily, right? Yeah, so I think 7750 works the same way that 7680 does, where the club has to meet a minimum of $100 per capita in order to qualify to do grants. I don't know how 6380 does it.
No, we don't have a minimum that has been established yet.
Okay.
So if you hit the donate now, you get the option for Rotary Foundation, Polio Plus, Eyeglass Project, or general donation.
Yeah. So
So you
Polio
want
Plus
the
is the place to
Polio
go.
Plus?
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate the heads up. And all right, guys. So any happy bucks to share before we get on to, I know you're all champing at the bit to get to this announcement about the board. Any happy bucks to share?
We have warm weather again, you know.
Yay.
Yeah,
We-
you know.
That's good. And I'm glad you guys got up relatively unscathed. David?
Our snow melted, our 6-8 inches of snow melted, which we don't get much more than that. Also,
Okay.
I have my vaccines in my arm, which I'm really happy about.
Amen to that.
Amen.
My mom too, hooray.
That's awesome. I actually just filled out my my pre-registration for Virginia. I think I'm pretty far down on the list though, which is good. Any other happy bucks?
Yeah, so John Cram is not with us tonight because he is doing a presentation on the ride that we did almost 2 years ago now to the Windy Nine,
The Windy Nine.
whatever it is.
That's windy.
Windy, windy,
The Windy Windy Nine.
woundy.
They were
Who's he presenting to?
advertising on Facebook within the past couple of days, and sure enough, one of our rides was there for the Windy Nine.
He's presenting to the Chamber of Commerce that supported us on that ride.
Nice. Good stuff. I sent him a note today to see if he was out and about on his bike because it was 55 at his house too. Any other things to share, guys? All right, none heard. All right, guys. So I will drum roll. Your board for the 2021-2022 year is as follows. Your president, Ms. Uta Schneider. President-elect David Yenneral. Woohoo. And I think he's actually on the pre-pets meeting tonight. President nominee Scott Nelson. So as a reminder,
Woo.
Uta will be president this year, which means next year will be David, which means the following year will be Scott Nelson. And joining us as secretary for the coming year, in her very first full year as a Rotarian, Deb Teplitz. Woo. Rory, the indomitable Rory Windrum will be remaining as our treasurer.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you.
Our directors representing the active membership, Jim Dodd-Mead and Jerry Jackson. Thanks, guys. And representing associate membership, Keith Lindgren and John Cram.
Yay.
So there you go. I want to thank you guys again for the great participation in the nomination process and the election. And I'm glad that all kind of went off without a hitch. We had a lot of respondents. I don't remember exactly what the number was, but a lot. So very good representation of the membership in the elections. So that's what we got. So on that note, I kind of wanted to open, we've got a fairly small group tonight, so I won't break us up into groups or anything, but I wanted to open up the floor. We have talked a couple times about things that we could do as a club, a project that we could undertake, a pet project, what it is that we're standing for. And we keep coming up with all these great ideas, but what we need to establish now is a champion, a single project and a champion, and how are we going to move forward with it? So I want to take the time tonight. We can talk for a bit about this happy hour all we want, but I wanted to take a time tonight to kind of rehash some of the ideas that we've had, see if anybody is ready and willing at this point to raise their hand and say, I will be the project champion for that and run with it. And that doesn't mean you have to do it, right? It just means I need somebody who's a project manager who's going to hold the clipboard and say, I need the following things from anybody who can help, right? And recruit other people. So to just throw some things out that we talked about, we had talked about planting trees as we do our rides. We had talked, and I know that David General is actively working the option of establishing a Rotaract club for his presidential year. So not this coming year, but the following. Those are the two big ones that stick out in my head.
I'm sorry, planting trees, and what was the second one?
The it was the
Rotaract.
Rotaract Club,
Rotaract.
and then the third one was the option of raising money for the purpose of providing scholarships to young riders for motorcycle safety classes. So those were the three things that we had kind of talked about in the last meeting that we had like this. But like I said, I think what we're missing right now is somebody to truly stand up and say, this is my project. I'm going to take this under my wing, and it's perfectly fine. I'm going to reiterate, it's perfectly fine if it's nobody in this group. But I just wanted to bring it up again, plant it in everybody's minds and see where we go. Or we could just drink our wine and have some fellowship tonight, and that's perfectly fine too.
Well, I like the idea of planting trees. Obviously, they got to not only find a tree, but then you got to find a place to plant it, right? Are we planting it in memory of, or are we getting donations for the trees? Or are we just planting Rotary trees?
And that's what we need to figure out, right? And I think that means that whoever's going to run with that project just sets up a meeting and say, let's talk through these things. We talked through a number of different options where it was visibility for Rotary being a big driver, right? And yeah, the friendship trees, things that Chris just posted in the chat, and visibility for Rotary being, we do rides because we're everywhere. We do rides everywhere. So if we are showing up as motorcycling Rotarians, it'd be nice if we could either partner with a local Rotary club, partner with a local Rotary club and with a local nursery where they could maybe donate the tree. And it could be either in somebody's name. Obviously, I think if we were to do something on the IFMR ride, on the Maggie Valley ride, it would make a lot of sense to have it be in memoriam. Or we can just do it as a Rotary tree, however, or we could ask the local club if they have a specific person or purpose for planting one.
I would encourage you all to take a look at that link that I stuck in the chat box, because it talks about why Rotary is into planting trees, because it all started with Paul Harris. As Paul Harris went around from place to place, he would always plant a friendship tree where he went. So it's a direct connection to our founding roots.
Unintended.
No pun.
No, totally pun intended. Roots and roots.
The ride to Maggie Valley would be a good opportunity.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that would be an excellent opportunity to try that one out.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
And,
that's-
I will volunteer since I am going on that ride to find 2 trees. I don't know where we're gonna plant them, but we'll have to find 2
What,
trees.
what
So-
ride?
so-
I know the fellow that runs Wheels Through Time.
Dale
just-
passed away.
He just passed away. It would probably
Mhm.
be a good opportunity, maybe even at his location.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
gonna
and we can work with the little local Rotary, just I can't talk tonight, the local Rotary district there to help us with that.
yeah, and it can be a combined project, be kind of nice for our district / club and whatever the local club and district are there. And Mickey, they would be able to have a better idea of where we could potentially plant a tree. You know, got some visibility into the local area.
In fact, those of you that were on the call a couple of weeks ago when Tiffany Irvin presented, Tiffany is in that district and she's a past governor of that district. So
Okay. Yeah, but what we want to do definitely this year, because I cannot do it last year because of COVID, it's my yearly polio ride to raise money. You know, so in April, end of April, I will do that. So with the district 5890. So definitive. And last time we made $15,000, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's a potential as well, if we could find a place, you know, if we had, I mean, we've got the time between now and then, I think.
But maybe we can make it all on the same day, you know, maybe I say, okay, let us do it at this weekend. Normally I make it Saturday. It starts Saturday in the morning and I visit some clubs before. And of course, I contact all the people that was on the last rides. And then, you know, I talk with pretty much everybody about what we're doing. And even if somebody give me $20, that's fine, right? So because when you have 5, they give you 20, it's 100, you know. So and normally I have, it's depend on the weather, because most in the springtime the weather can be really ugly or pretty hot, you know. It's nothing in the between. It's cold or hot most of the time here. So but if we can make it maybe on the same time, you know, some in this one in this area, one in this area, one in this area, I can give, I made the flyers for the polio ride, so we can change that however we want it. So
It's a
and
fairly short time frame for us to try to coordinate. I like the idea. I really do like the idea of coordinating something where everybody in the club
we
try.
can make it in the fall as well, so don't worry.
What's up?
We can also do it in the fall if the time now is too short. We can make
Yeah,
it.
well, that's why I think maybe we focus right now on the Maggie Valley ride, which is in August. That gives us plenty of, and then, you know, if we could start coordinating something now, between now and it could be sometime in the summer, where everybody in the club maybe approaches either their local club or an
Mhm.
auto club in the area or somebody that could help. And we all plant a tree on the same day. That'd be great. You know,
Mhm.
great. The great thing that we can all feel like we're doing together. It could also be something where we plant a tree between, you know, before noon, and then we all get together at noon and share a virtual lunch or something like that, where we can have something that's a little bit more, you know, we can share our experience, what we learned and who we met, and have some fellowship around it. Is everybody tired today? Has it been a long month? A long, short month?
One short month.
Long, short month.
It's a long day.
It has been a long day. It's been obviously a week that feels like it should have an extra day. That's what we were all discussing. Happy
longest short month of the year.
Winter Day.
So we don't think it's enough time from now till August for us to coordinate with somebody in Maggie Valley to do the friendship tree planting.
No,
Well,
I think we
I
do.
think we
I think we
could.
can get
I
that
think that
done.
would be something we could do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I just don't think between now and April for
Oh,
The
no.
right,
coordinate.
the right.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could probably coordinate for one tree. If
Mhm.
do that for Uta's right, it would just be hard to coordinate the entire club doing it at the same time.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's going to be something that we'd want to get on the calendar pretty early.
Well, the memorial ride is for two people, right?
Yeah,
And we just said that there's a third person in the district that we might want to do 3 trees. Is that what we just said?
the owner of,
Wheels Through Time or
Wheels Through Time, yeah.
Yeah.
Agus,
Dale,
Wassler,
yes,
what's his last name?
Wassler.
Woxler, yeah,
WI?
Walksler,
Sounds pretty German.
Woxler, Dale Woxler.
We got, I mean, if you're gonna plant 1 tree, 3 trees is
Right,
a nice number.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I'm hoping that we can, I would love to be able to do a nice hardwood. I don't want it to be, do a nice hardwood, and those are not super inexpensive typically. So it'd be nice if we could partner with a local nursery that would be able to,
Yeah.
that'd be
It
willing to
kind of
donate
depends
them.
on where you're gonna put them too. I mean, in some cases, a hardwood would be preferable. And in other cases, you might, get the owner saying, well, I'd really like a big, blue spruce here, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's true.
I think that, yeah, something like that, like those perennial spruces that grow there in that area,
Mhm.
something native to the area. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of these areas, have been hit pretty hard depending on the area by certain, I know, we had, oh shoot, I can't think of the name of the bug that took out all of our
Yes.
The
trees.
emerald ash borer and the,
Thank you. That's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah.
They might specifically want to replenish a specific tree, so we'll have.
yeah,
to
and that's
ask.
why I'm thinking if we partner with a local nursery, those are things that they'll know, right? They can recommend for the soil type at the location that was chosen, things like that.
Right. And then again, if they're donating, we may not be too choosy.
Right.
Right. I'm 100% okay with whatever they recommend. If they're not gonna want to recommend and plant a tree that's not gonna do well, because that doesn't look well.
Right.
Right.
Right. Especially if it's got a tag on it and it's dead.
Womp womp.
Wah, wah, wah. In memory of, donated by Rotary and,
Oh, yeah. We'll probably want to figure out somebody in the local area who could go, tend to it occasionally, make sure it's not in that state. It sounds like a Tiffany Irvin project.
There you go.
She doesn't ride, right, Chris?
She does not ride. Well, she does not, she does not drive. So she'll ride on the back of somebody's bike.
Maggie Valley is my goal, my target date, by the way, to be able to ride with everybody.
And we have it recorded.
I know it's recorded, and I found out today we hit our revenue goals for the year, so we might actually have the ability to do it. My husband just said my excuses are running out. I'll find other. It's fine. All right, Mickey. Well, I thank you very much for running with that. It makes me feel better that we have. There you go, Uta. There you go. You have a you have a 2021 project that we're working on. And then obviously with everybody, is Jerry president of IFMR next year? Is that
So
set?
he's trying out.
I think his term ends in June and Larry picks up in July.
Okay. So it might be something that we could partner with IFMR, right? Because there's rides that we all end up going on. It sounds like we're going to be sponsoring most of their rides. So good for us to do. Okay, cool. And then I do like the idea of trying to find a time when we can all go plant a tree together apart. I mean, I prefer it was together, but
Virtually together.
virtually together. Might be good to look at where some of us could maybe get together, Uta and Deb in their neighborhood, and I don't know.
Oh, we
Keith,
find a place. We have
go
no
to
problem
Keith's
with that.
house. But we could throw a target on that of what's realistic. We got summer's busy for people, so it's hard to get everybody on a Saturday in the summer. What about the end of September? Is that time frame, is the weather good for everybody at the end of September? No, is it
Yes.
monsoon season anywhere?
No, September is perfect.
Hurricane season's still on.
I know. Starting 1st of June. But
We
usually
could
by the-
tentatively say September 25th. Just to put a line in the sand, a date on the calendar. I'm a big fan of that.
Mine, Michigan, we get them all.
I know, you never know. In Rory's house, it could be 6 inches of snow or 75 degrees. You don't know. Probably not snow, though. Who's out in Colorado? Nobody who's on here.
Tom Dines.
Tom, but
Yeah.
in Florida already.
I got all sorts of family in Colorado, but I'm not.
All right, so when I say September 25th, does anybody go, hey, that's my wedding anniversary weekend or anything like that that's gonna keep you from doing it?
I have to look at a calendar. I'm not sure.
This is what happens when you come to the meeting. We actually get to take your calendars into consideration. Everybody else just has to live with it.
All right. let me look.
I got a charity event on September 27. It's my golf tournament.
On the 27th, the Monday,
27th, Monday. Yeah.
are you gone that whole weekend?
Yeah. It's on Monday, but I wouldn't have enough time to come back if it was somewhere there in Colorado.
Oh, no. We're gonna do it wherever we live. We're gonna
Oh,
try to all
okay.
do something. We're gonna try to all do something by our house. And then just
No problem.
together to share a meal virtually. Maybe we could, hey, I have an idea. Maybe we could plant a tree in the morning and then do a, what's the meal thing, Chris? Help me out. The world's largest,
Oh, the world's greatest meal.
world greatest meal. Do a combined event.
Help raise money for polio.
Yeah. And that would give us plenty of time to coordinate it between now and then. So guys, if we were to do that, if we were all to go out and get dirty and plant a tree in the morning and then get together for an early dinner, say around 3 or 4 o'clock on a Saturday and the 25th of September, would that be something you'd all want to do?
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
bean.
Put on my calendar.
All right, I'm adding it.
Where will you be at that time of year, Keith?
I'll be back in Virginia.
I'll be in Florida.
Too early to come down to Florida then.
I don't know. When you're in the Keys, it's like being on a tropical
Well,
island.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
Is that where you are
Nice-
now,
nice
Chris?
breeze.
No, I'm back in North Carolina. I was down for most of February, and I'll be going back in September.
Nice.
Actually, I'm going back at the end of April, and I'll be there through June, and then going back through for September.
Where do you stay when you're down there?
In my home in Isla Morada.
Nice.
What's the name? It's the dive shop. So Isla Morada Dive Shop is owned by one of my husband's close rugby guys from Michigan.
I know it.
That's too funny.
Okay, so what am I putting on my calendar for September 25th? Right now, I've got a Hocking Hills ride.
Yes. Oh, you have a hills, you have a ride that day?
No, it just means that there is one we haven't signed up for yet.
Okay. So September 25th, we're all going to, at some point in the morning / early afternoon, plant a tree local. So it's on everybody to coordinate with their local people.
Okay.
And then we're going to come together to do a world's greatest meal together in that afternoon evening timeframe, which will be a Polio Plus fundraiser.
Excuse me, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, and I'll put it in the email that goes out as well tonight. So
Okay.
So I could probably do that from Hocking Hills if I wanted to do that with a bunch of Harley Davidson riders, might be able to do
and the
that.
world's greatest meal thing, it's Chris, it's not even a specific location or that you have to work with specifically, right? It's just,
Nope. You can do it wherever.
yeah, so we could all, I mean, hopefully at that point in time, we can all take our families out for a meal comfortably, and we'll just together from our phones.
So anybody wants to go to Hocking Hills, it sounds like Harley Davidson's got a ride through Hocking Hills and the BMW Hoosier rallies that weekend as well. So sounds like Hocking Hills is the place to be that weekend.
Okay.
Where is that ride, Mickey?
Hocking Hills?
Ohio?
Yep.
Hmm.
But it's the bumpy part of Ohio. We have a bumpy part
It's
of
the part that
Ohio.
goes like this. It goes like that. That's it. That's all you got. No, that's not true. I've driven on some roads in
Hey,
Ohio.
hey,
outside
hey,
of
we
this.
have the triple nickel. Just
I know.
saying.
Well, you also have like that whole Steubenville area. I look at those roads and I'm like, how do people do this in the winter? I
Hey,
don't even understand.
don't disrespect the OHIO. I'm telling you.
You know that I'm from Michigan. That's what I do.
You know, Amber waves a grain, I admit, but still, we get a few of them, a few hills.
Oh, what are you sending us, Chris Jones?
That's my home that we rent in the Keys, if anybody
Oh.
has an interest.
Always,
Oh.
yes.
Do you
Yes.
have a home in the Keys?
I do.
Nice. So, and you rent it out for people you know?
I rent it out for people I don't even know.
He rents it out for people who pay.
I charge more to the people I know.
That makes sense.
No, I'm kidding. We do have a friend of Chris rate, so
Nice.
Oh, good. So it's in Isla Morada,
Isla Morada.
Isla Morada, yeah.
Mhm.
Florida, Isla Morada, that's what
Yep.
they say.
Purple
Oh.
Purple Island.
Isla Morada.
Whenever anybody says Murata, I just think of a black eye.
That's right, it's a black eye too.
That's awesome.
And
All
it's
right.
also a blueberry kind,
Yeah.
Mora. So that's below Key Largo, right?
Yes, the next key down. So
Yeah.
it's really on Isla Morada is a bunch of villages on several
Yep.
keys, but it's the key right below Largo's where our place is.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a-
I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna
this
keep
looks
it. I'm gonna
awesome.
save it.
Can we just have a Rotary meeting at your?
Sure.
Yes, we
I'm
make a
game, let's
weekend
go.
meeting or something.
It's kind of hard to plant a tree there because it's all coral, but we'll figure it out.
We can plant a palm tree.
A palm tree, coconut.
Yep.
We could plant the plastic palm tree with the lights around it.
There you go.
As long as the deer doesn't eat them.
Maybe we could sink something and make a reef. Come on, there's options. We got options.
Yeah, like a motorcycle.
Oh, that would be.
There you go.
I know somebody who owns a dive shop who has lots of boats and would help us make that happen.
There you go.
He keeps asking us to come down and go shark diving. I'm like, no, He was, he fell into this thing. So was it Anthony Bourdain first that went down? Or Mike Rowe went down to do a Dirty Jobs episode, and the boat he was supposed to go out on, something happened and they couldn't. So Eric took them out. So now Eric is like the go-to Discovery Channel guy. So every time they go down there to do anything, he takes them out. So he's Anthony Bourdain and Mike Rowe and Andrew Zimmern. They did the episode, if you ever see the episode where they go out fishing for lionfish. That's
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And so he keeps bugging us to come down too. Yeah, he knows the shop, yeah. Well, cool. I feel like this is like the only thing I've actually accomplished today. I've sat in meetings all day and this has been the only that was actually useful. Had a 1.5 hour meeting today about strategy where nothing actionable came out of it. Those are my favorite.
That's an oxymoron.
A little bit. What's our strategy? Well, let's talk about what we could do. How about we talk about what we can do?
How about we talk about what we're going to do?
How about we talk about,
Talk about how hard it is to get anything done. That's
because
always
I'm
the
in
most
meetings.
productive.
How hard it is to get anything done because I'm in meetings all day long.
I had an 1.5 hour meeting today at the pool. Does that count?
No,
I'll
it
take
doesn't
that
count.
one. That's me.
No.
That's the meeting I want to attend. I gotta go let my dog out. I'll be right back.
I did, like I said, I did drive home today with the top off of the Jeep and soaked up as much sun as I possibly could.
Nice.
Because we all know it's February 24th. We've got one good snowstorm in us in Virginia before all's said and done. I need to go wash this my Jeep, but I know for a fact as soon as I do that, it's like the nail in the coffin for the nice weather.
I'll be coming through your area of the world sometime in the beginning of April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How close to my area? I mean, I will come find you if you're close.
So, so Colleen and I are originally from Baltimore, and we still have family back there, and we think that this may be Colleen's father's last birthday, so we definitely want to get back.
Well, if you find yourselves out and about and you have time, I would love to meet and
Yeah,
and say
meet you
hi.
meet you in person.
Meet me an actual person. I live on 15 and 70.
Yep.
in Lynchburg, Basically.
I know exactly where it is.
Yep. So easy peasy for me to get to Baltimore. I actually got to the airport in 47 minutes the other day. It was stupid fast. The only good thing to come out of COVID is the lack of traffic. My 45-minute commute is 17 minutes now.
Yeah, we lived in Ellicott City before we moved to North Carolina.
Oh, it's so pretty there.
Yeah, we liked it.
Yeah, my husband was at one point working out of Columbia.
Mhm.
And so I was going back and forth from Chicago. And so we would always look for fun places to go. So I loved going into that little downtown. Oh my God, it was so cute.
I haven't actually never been there. I actually was a part owner in a company that was based out of Ellicott City, and I've never been there.
It's so cute. And I mean, a couple of years ago, they had a really bad flood.
The bad flood. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, and it was kind of devastating because I had such wonderful memories of it. And it was like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah, there are still buildings there from the 1700s. So
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Wilmington, I think the area of Wilmington was very bad, flooded. And I know because my brother-in-law moved to North Carolina, New Bern, 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. And we just bought a ranch there. It's close to New Bern. And all the houses in the neighborhood are still, was old houses that was flooded during this one. It was a bad one. It was the same year when we got hit with Harvey. That was.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had a hurricane that had a big storm.
Yep.
I actually have a girlfriend out in Colorado who does she does like home remediation if there's mold or mildew or they condemn a house and they had been doing things in it that were inappropriate. And she went out and she was in New Bern for 3 months, I think, that year.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a trivia question for you. Where is Pepsi from?
Atlanta. No, it's
Nope.
Coca-Cola.
That's Coca-Cola, yeah.
Yeah,
Is Pepsi, I mean, aren't they right outside of the airport in Baltimore?
Well, they do have an office there, but they originated in New Bern, North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. Yes,
You
I
are
probably could have followed that train of thought a little bit better.
You are right, because when we built a new office building in New Bern, and right over the street is Pepsi.
And here's a really cool story. So when my wife was in her early days as a law firm attorney, she was doing some work for Pepsi, and in some old documents in an old box was the original recipe for Pepsi. So, which she very quickly got protected and locked up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it held it for ransom.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love finding stuff like that though. I mean, I don't know, those little treasures. We do a lot of antiquing. I never buy anything, but I love looking through stuff. And the kids have gotten a couple. Actually, I had a very early edition of the book Black Beauty that was signed by the author. When I was like, I don't know, I think I was 8, and my aunt and uncle owned an auction house in Holly, Michigan. And nobody would ever bid on the boxes of books. So I'd raise my hand and bid $1 and I always got them, right? And so I just had massive amounts of books and no books that so many Harlequin romance novels and Stephen King books that I really had no business reading when I was 9. But yeah, but in that box, in one of those boxes was that first edition Black Beauty that was signed by the author. It was so cool.
So Amanda, I'm going back to a comment you made earlier. You said you live in the 70-15 area, but 70 and 15 don't intersect.
Yeah, that's
15 and 340
The voice
intersect.
from the background,
That's 15 and no, it's 70. It's up in Frederick or in
15 and 340 intersect.
Oh,
It's been
okay.
a really long week. She doesn't know where she is.
Or what day it is.
That's the way I go home. I go 15 to 70 to the turnpike. But I guess there must be,
So Amanda, you say picky, picky, picky.
does it turn into 340? Is that what happens? I didn't even realize.
Just
15
because they
turns into
don't
3,
intersect doesn't mean I don't want them to.
You know where they
turns
are.
into 340, and then 340 goes to 70.
Is it only 340 for like 2.5 miles? Is it that little section when you come off of,
When you come off of 15, yeah.
yeah, when you come off of 15? Okay, all right.
Don't let Amanda navigate.
Oh, I
Okay.
can get you there. I just can't tell you the streets.
Between you and John Cram, we're going to be in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Follow me. Just follow me all you want. You cannot read my instructions though.
That's what John said, and some folks ended up down a gravel road. So
I didn't, I mean, I'm not going to take you down a road where you dump your bike in the sand or the mud. I mean, I'm not Jerry
I
Jackson.
would not have problems with that, honestly.
Yeah, you would not.
Now, come on. He calls that dragging his pegs.
Yeah. Which one, Chris, was it you that posted the video of the winner of the baggers race, the motorcycle race? The guys, oh, somebody posted today and
Yeah, the Indian guys won. It's pretty impressive to watch. Quite
well,
honestly.
yeah, because I mean they're in full-size bikes with saddlebags doing like Laguna Seca stuff. What? That's awesome.
They just lose their
Iconic.
minds out there.
That's crazy. I'm gonna have to, when I start riding again, this is where I look at Keith and I'm like, I need adult supervision, because when I was riding last, you know, I had the Harley, but I didn't ride it much, but I definitely had a Yamaha dirt bike. And I was somewhat reckless on it. So I'm gonna
Surprise,
probably,
surprise.
yeah, right.
Hey, Scott, you're just in time. I was just putting in the attendance in the book.
I count now.
You squeaked by.
Oh, good. Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
Welcome, Mr. President nominee, Scott Nelson.
Just told us,
Series.
great
It's-
position.
And it's recorded, Scott, so you can't back out.
Get back out.
No way.
I gave you plenty of opportunity to say no,
You
but
did.
now you're
There,
stuck.
there is a chance if you had to move the meeting up an hour or back an hour.
That's true.
Well, you East Coast folks who wake up too damn early, I don't know how you feel about that.
I'd be thrilled if we moved it an hour earlier, but that would make it tough for the folks in California.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 p.m. meeting time.
I could be on a WebEx at the same time. You're like, who are you talking to? Scott, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Scott, what you missed is that Nikki raised her hand and decided to be our project champion to coordinate planting of 3 trees during the Maggie Valley Run in
Very
August.
cool.
Also, September 25th, we as a club, everyone is going to coordinate with their local clubs / a local nursery to plant a tree of their own. And we're all going to do it at the same time. And then we're going to get together and have a virtual dinner using the world's greatest meal format as a fundraiser for Polio Plus.
The world's greatest meal format.
Yeah, it's basically everybody just gets together and shares a meal and then we donate some money to Polio Plus. There's some structure behind it. So.
By the way, can you already meet in a restaurant or go in a restaurant? Yeah,
Virginia's been open. We've been open at we were at 25% capacity for a while, but we've been at 50% capacity for months at this.
we are 75% right now.
I think even Michigan is allowing people to eat in now.
Only California have closed the doors.
Outdoors.
I will say that where's where'd you go? Did Ron, you're in California, right?
Yeah.
I got a notification today from Disney that they're reopening the Grand Floridian on the 1st of May. Sounds like, or sorry, the Grand Californian on the 1st of May.
I was gonna say there's quite a few Grand Floridians.
Yeah,
and
sorry,
they're-
Grand Californian is the big resort hotel at Disneyland. So it sounds like you guys are moving in the direction of some reopening stuff.
But May, it's still 2 months, you know. or
Pretty
3
2 months.
We have a town just north of us. It's about 20 miles north, and they have the the worst statistics in the county. But they they went to court and they've been open the whole time. Everything's been open, indoor dining and everything. We have
They're doing it
not
county by
gone up
county.
there, but yeah, it's county by county, but they've just stayed open up in Paso Robles in the wine country. Hotels are open, the restaurants are open. They haven't closed anything.
It's a lovely place.
And the statistics show it too.
But the statistic shows it's more infections or not?
They're the highest infection
Oh,
rate in the
okay.
county by far.
Okay.
We were dealing with the cancellation of the Houston rodeo, and a lot of people, it was not pretty. Normally it would have taken place in March. They moved it to May, and February 1st or so they came through and said, yeah, no, we're not going to do it. And I had to kind of put it to people in a business perspective. It's like, well, February 1st is, 2 months or so ahead of their dates. And this is when they'd have to put money up for things. And ultimately, you got to make a smart business decision. And, I think it was the right decision. As someone who works with the public on the grounds, yeah, I don't know if I really want to be, out there handling stuff and talking to people like I normally do. So I'm not sad about it. I think, they'll make it better for next year. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that I'm hoping we can get the vaccines distributed better soon. Because it doesn't.
My sister's in Vail, Colorado, and I mean, it's Eagle Vail is such a small community. They've got everybody pretty much vaccinated quickly, just because there's not that very many people there to go through. Whereas you get Toledo, Ohio, and you've got all these. Well, you got to wait till everybody's 65 that wants one, and then you got to do the teachers, then you got to do that, and everybody's scrambling to get a appointment, and muddling through that whole mess. It's like it's not organized nearly. Then Eagle just goes, okay, we got X amount of citizens. Here, call this number, tell us when you give us 3 dates, and we'll fit you in on one of them, and that's the end of it.
Well, that makes me happy because that's where my timeshare is, and I would like to go there this summer.
Well, and Chris, she has an Airbnb in her house. Part of her house she rents out, and because she was Airbnb, she was considered critical or essential because she has to clean it, and she's got people staying, and she's part of the service industry, which in Vail, everything that's service industry related is essential.
Yeah.
She was put at the top of the list no matter what your age. If you're cleaning hotels, working the hotels, working any of the service industries, you're essential in Vail, Colorado.
Well, and in Virginia, so when we did the pre-registration, like I got to check no on literally everything. I won't be getting a vaccine ever. But like Mike is in grocery stores and restaurants all day long because he sells wine into those places. So between that and the asthma, I think he'll be pretty high on the list. And then Jonathan, I'm very curious. I haven't heard anything about the universities. Is it who? Nobody here. David would know. I'm just curious if anybody's heard anything about the universities and how they're handling vaccinations. I would maybe as a mom, but also as a realist, I would hope that maybe they would get those nasty little kids vaccinated really fast so that they don't spread that stuff.
My wife's got her first shot.
Unfortunately, it's just
California
like the
schools
schools.
are talking about going back in.
Yeah, Maggie starts back on Thursday next week, hybrid. So they split the school into A through K and L through Z. So Tuesday, the whole district is Monday, the remote. On Tuesday and Wednesday, L through Z, if you've chosen hybrid, will be in person, and then Thursday, Friday, or A through K, and then Thursday, Friday, L through Z. So everybody gets basically 2 days if you've chosen hybrid. If you haven't chosen hybrid, you get to stay home. But we'll see how it goes. She's been, I tell you guys, she's been over the moon for the past week as she's getting ready, and she's part of student council, and she's helping them plan how to show the freshmen around, something I would have never thought about, but the freshmen have literally never been in the school. So, you know, here we are, March 1st, going into school. They've never been there before.
Wow.
But she said she got there, they went in on Monday to do some setup and stuff. And she's like, you sit in the car and you fill out on your phone, you fill out on an app, a questionnaire. And then when you walk, your temperature, and they ask you the same questions and make sure you answered them the same way. And then you walk through the doors and they're walking through a scanner that's also doing an ambient temperature as you walk through. And that all the hallways have arrows now, which way you're allowed to walk. So everybody has to walk one way around all the hallways. So we'll see. It sounds good in theory. We'll see what happens when you expose it to high schoolers.
They can
What
find
is
the
the
button.
age, what is the age limit for giving the vaccine to what's considered a child? Is it 18 and over, or
I think
can they give
16.
a vaccine to a 16 or 16?
I think it's 16 to 65 is the target group that's trying to.
I'm just curious. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. It just seems like every state has a different idea of what's considered 16 or 18. Is it college kids or no high school kids or some high school kids or only seniors? I don't know.
Doesn't
just
it
seems
depend on
like-
which vaccine they've got too? I know the Pfizer and Moderna, I think they had different. like,
I think
lower-
you're right. I think you're right. I think that one of them did do tests on 16 and over and the other was 18 and over or something like that.
Yeah.
It's really confusing on the, you know, on the school programs on who can go back and who, you know, who has to have a dose and who doesn't, whether the teachers do or don't.
Yeah.
If I was a teacher, I'd want one, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I think when they talked about California just reopening without shots, all the
Mhm.
teachers are like, no, I'm just gonna quit if that happens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't blame them for saying, what do you mean it's safe to go back without a shot? Social distancing with teenagers, are you kidding? I can't even get them to wash their hands and, you know, raise their hand when I want them to and stop talking during, you know, this class and that class.
Mike just told me that his sister's a kindergarten teacher at a Catholic school in Michigan, and he just told me that she's been back in person this entire time, which is interesting because in Michigan you can't go out to eat.
I know, it's so confusing. I mean, I
No,
had
it's like
people
that.
from Michigan came down here to visit us to go out to eat, and they were all excited about going to a restaurant, and Jeff and I don't feel comfortable at all going to the restaurants down here because half the time, you know, they've got the plexiglass in between, but they're jam-packed. Or they've got like 3 seats and, you know, no waiters or waitresses. And it's just, it's hit or miss whether you get any service and hit or miss whether or not you feel like they're protecting you or not.
I will say that I
Yeah.
think they've done a really great job in Northern Virginia, at least like right around where I am, that they've kept the capacity low. I tell you what, restaurants are thriving because around here, so many people are ordering out. So many
Well,
people.
ordering out for sure. But
And there's been
eating
a lot of
in,
restaurants.
it depends on the restaurant, whether or not they are set up to really accommodate, you know.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say
plexiglasses
that
and-
a lot of the restaurants, even if they're set up to accommodate dining in, they're just not even opening because they're making so much money on the carry out. And that they
Right.
don't, you know, they've cut their overhead so much with cutting staff.
And less cleaning. The
And
cleaning
less
standards
cleaning,
are.
less
really
liability. I mean, just overall, it's just a lot of restaurants have just said, no, we're just not gonna open.
And I think what'll stick, at least around here is, you know, a lot of the Mexican restaurants always wanted to be able to send a pitcher of margaritas home with you with the carryout. Now they can. They're not gonna want to give that up once, you know, this is all over.
The governor of Texas actually set it up. He changed the law so they could continue doing that. We're like, woo, I can go buy a gallon of margaritas and head on home.
I mean, you get it sealed. It's got, you know, a tape over the top. It's a gallon of margaritas or a half gallon of margaritas in a container, and it's sealed. And you know, it's up to you to keep it sealed before you get home. and or when it's delivered, and you know.
Don't they have
Delivered in a
drive-through liquor
blender.
stores?
In Indiana too.
There's one place, there's a chain that literally they give you the margaritas, and so you get these cups, but they then tape the tequila to the top. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh, they give you the little bottles.
You
you
get the
have to
little
bump in?
bottles, and so they're taped. It is really funny picking them up.
A few of the places around here, they came up with a plastic like Ziploc pouch, and it looks like an adult Capri Sun.
No, we don't have an alcohol.
Louisiana drive-through.
I was gonna say,
Drive-thru.
is it only Louisiana? I thought they had it in Texas too.
Well, I mean, we thought we were sophisticated when they would let you recork the bottle, but now this is taking it to a whole new level.
There are some places in Southeast Texas that, yes, there are drive-throughs, there are, and when I moved here, I was like, I thought that was all a big joke. Oh, no. You could find a drive-through Zachary.
Well, Deb, when I first met Jeff, he lived in Houston, and I used to work in Houston, and so we'd go down there, and we'd go out to drink or out to have a drink someplace, and we'd pick up one of his buddies, and he'd bring a 6-pack with him and drink it on the way.
Oh yeah.
With all 6 of them like attached. He wouldn't even bother unattaching the.
I've seen it.
And I'm looking at him. I mean, he was a big guy, granted, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm drinking 1 beer and worried about the cops following me, and he's drinking the whole stinking 6-pack.
He's on a 6-pack before we even get to the bar.
Before we even got to the bar.
So
And
when this
Jeff-
whole thing, when this whole thing came down and they started doing mobile alcohol, I started seeing people posting pictures like sitting in the passenger seat drinking. And in Michigan, open intox is like a major no.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. And not in Ohio.
In Virginia, that's not the same. Apparently in Virginia, if you're not driving, it's perfectly legal to drink in the car.
Exactly. If you're not
That's what I said. I was
driving.
like, what? Because I had some smart aleck
So
comment.
I want to know if I can do that in the sidecar.
That's actually what I was thinking too. If I'm a passenger, hey,
What you have in your camel pack.
I think me and
I
my
think
sibling
you
couple
know-
is pretty happy back there.
Not even as a passenger.
I have a friend who works for one of the big plumbing supply companies, and this week has been really, really horrible, of course. And at one point I called her and I was like, hey, can I bring you lunch? Do you need anything? And she's like, I would kill for a margarita. However, I don't think my boss is going to go for that. And I'm like, okay, sorry.
That's the benefit of working from home. Is it margarita? You don't know. It's in a mug. It could be.
Right.
That's funny you said that
Likely.
because when I started working with, I don't know if you remember free markets when they first came out in Pennsylvania, but they had Fridays when we went to visit them. They had a Friday like refrigerator packed full of beers, and on Friday afternoon after lunch you could have up to 2 beers at your desk, and it was kind of like social hour at work, and it was like unheard of. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a very progressive company, very Google-ish of them.
We
It sounds
used to
safe
have,
area.
we used to have quite a few of those days. It was when I was doing government contract with a particular company. Anytime there was a big mission win, we'd crack a beer at the end of the day and say congratulations. We also had St. Patrick's Day. We definitely had Guinness floats for breakfast.
Yeah, they don't do any of that fun thing. Everybody's worried about getting, sued.
Well, at Amanda Tech, I promise that anybody who works for Amanda Tech.
Hire me, I'm with you. I'll be
I
a
told
cheap
people
bartender.
I used to work for Mantech for a long time. I just kept all my swag. And I'm going to change it with a Sharpie.
Can I be in charge of alcohol procurement?
I'm kind of married to a guy who does that for a living.
Oh, okay, well, I'll be in charge of chips and salsa.
All right, sounds good. You can be in charge of carb procurement.
That was a little bit, difficult for me when I was the first time. It's a couple of years before I came or finally moved to America. I was in West Virginia. I had an invitement for a wedding, and I was in West Virginia, and I was like, okay, what this is with the alcohol in this country, because they couldn't have it open, so they have it in a paper bag or whatever. So, and I said, it makes no sense for me. They drinking it anyway, you know. So in German, you can do that. They're looking at the people, for example, young people until when they are 16, they can drink a beer, whatever, not all, you know, not hard drinks, but they can buy the soft alcoholic drinks, but not the bad things. And they're learning. I think it's better to lead them, that they learn responsible with the alcohol to be, and not like here that you cannot drink any alcohol until you are 21. And they're doing it anyway,
The difference is, and I lived in Switzerland when I was 16, so I know I had to turn over my driver's license when I left. You can't drive until you're 18.
No, they changed it already.
Oh, did they?
In
Because
Germany.
back then you could drink, but you couldn't drive, and so you know you didn't have
You're right.
the
You're
fear
right.
of,
Yeah.
you know.
But it's also, you know, you can ride until 0.8 promille. When you're over that, you have problem. But so when you drink one beer or whatever and you're driving, nobody gives you a, you know, bad time. But if they get you, and especially when they have big, you know, festivals or whatever, they make a lot of controls. So it's better to find a driver or go with Uber, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So
But the public transportation in Europe is so much better than it is here.
Yes, exactly. And
The
this
town,
is the
the town I lived in didn't have any public transportation. There was a lot of, I shouldn't say this on this call. There was a lot of breaking one of the Ds of the Rotary Exchange student rules, the driving one. But it was actually the D that was, don't ride on the back of anybody's moped, because there was no way going all the way back home from the club at 8 o'clock in the morning on my feet.
But this is the funny thing when you have the German youth exchange and they come to America and they are already had this freedom in this age, you know, and then they come here and they say, oh my gosh, you know, it's like I'm going back in the last century, you know, something.
How do you
like
feel?
that.
How do you think it feels when you join the army at 18 and you can't have a beer?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
you have German au pairs that come to the States and watch your children, and you have to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can go out with your friends, but you can't have a drink. And I know you're used to having drinks at home, but you can't have them here.
Yeah, you're right. So it makes no sense for me. This is why I don't understand that.
Right. No, it was tough. I mean, I had a hard time. We had 7 different au pairs watching our children. And that was probably the toughest one.
Mm-hmm.
For all of them, was to come here and realize the restrictions on the drinking rules.
Not only the drinking is so much more, you know, what you cannot do in a sense.
Not that any of them really cared, because to them it was such a non-issue until it became an issue.
Yes.
They didn't have any desire to go out and have a drink until you told them they couldn't. Exactly. Or they went out with their friends and their friends were older and friends could have one, but they couldn't.
Yeah. Night, Chris. Yeah, I think I told you guys, I had my bachelorette party in Canada because I wasn't old enough to drink in Michigan. So I for almost 2 years when I got married, and I had to go over to Canada to enjoy my bachelorette party.
For Mardi Gras. I found out, I didn't realize it, but apparently you could go to Mardi Gras and Big Easy and drink.
Well, and also I think nobody cares. Mike used to go to St. Patrick's Day in Savannah every year for a big rugby tournament. He got yelled at by a cop for pouring out a beer. Don't waste alcohol. He was 17. Because it really just depends on where you are.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we are a little bit past. I'm gonna end the meeting, but I'm happy to leave it on if anybody wants to stay because we're actually kind of having fun.
But by the way,
no, I do.
I really like your cat. He's so cute, lying the whole time.
Oh, I didn't even see him up there, Rob.
I love that. Really.
Oh, he's reached out several times and just kind of patted Rob on the shoulder, going, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?"
Hey, could you make those guys quiet?
Really cute. Bye, Keith.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, Ron.
See you next week.
Have a great evening. Have a good week, guys.
Oh, Scott came late, so we can stay for Scott.